thought the same thing.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled Sylvania Township Board of Trustees meeting for August 21st at 7 p.m.
We'll call the roll. Mr. Haddad?
Here.
Mr. Mahoney?
Here.
Mr. Genowine?
Here.
Oh, here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the August 1st meeting. Is there any changes or problems with it?
I didn't see anything.
There's like two of them on August
Right.
1st.
The two of them on August. No.
I don't have any problems with it.
August 7th meeting.
None.
I'm good. None at all.
I would like the minutes to reflect that when we went into executive session at 4:03, that Mr. Haddad went to do an interview with Channel 11 and didn't join us in executive session.
Oh, no, I was in executive session. I took the interview first, and I was in executive session, Mr. Genowine. Do not,
You joined us at 4:10,
that, I still was
and
there.
we adjourned at 4:11.
No, you did not. I was there.
Well,
You don't have that on the record to show that, so I was there.
I would like that change made.
I don't want that change made. I was there.
I'll second the change.
Can't second a change. Jeez, you guys don't even know law anymore.
Seems you don't either, sir.
More than you do.
Hearing of the public. Did anyone sign in?
No, nobody signed in.
Okay. Zoning?
Yeah, Darrell has a couple resolutions in a report. Our first item was a request for abatement. The one property, we're withdrawing the request, the 3349 Mars Row. The tree has been removed from the garage, and now it's just a matter of the garage itself being repaired. So we're going to work with the property owner on that for the time being. So we're just asking for an abatement for 2605 Centennial Road.
I'd like to offer resolution 12-115, authorize abatement at 2605 Centennial Road.
Second?
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
And we have our monthly report for the month of July. We had a couple good months there, 2 or 3 good months. July, not so much. We had 25 permits at $1.4 million in property value. The most permits were for residential dwelling, one family. There's 4 of those at $750,000, sorry. And then 4 above-ground swimming pool permits. For meetings, we had, with the BZA, Panera Bread has been continued to the next meeting, so all we had was the Woodstream West one, which was for a subdivision sign. And then for zoning commission, it was the zone change on the Butch Brown property that the trustees approved at last meeting, and the text amendment for special events, to send that down. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darrell. Next up is Public Works, and Greg has one resolution.
Good evening. Recommending Resolution 12-114 to award and enter into contract for the 2012 leaf pickup.
I'll offer resolution 12-114 to enter in a contract for the leaf pickup for 2012.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
That's great. Next up is the Fire Department with their monthly report.
Good evening. You had before you the July 2012 monthly report.
If you go to page 2, you can see that our fire incidents are up slightly from July of 2011.
False alarms? False alarms are high?
Some of our false alarms are out, and this is, Mr. Headhead, this is mostly due to the weather-related.
Okay.
The storms moving through, we get a lot of those false alarm hits
Okay, good.
when that happens. Yes, sir. On our rescue responses, the next page, again, are up a little bit, about 20 from the same time last year. I anticipated our respiratory distress people to be a little higher than what it was due to the weather, but I think people needed to heat and stayed in. The following page is the mutual aid incidents. We had several mutual aid incidents. We received mutual aid from Springfield Township twice, once at 4847 Wickford Drive, and the other at 5130 Flanders Road. We received mutual aid from Richfield Township Fire Department, 7942 Bancroft Street. That was during the July 5th influx of storms. And we gave mutual aid twice on structure fires to Springfield Township. So again, it's working out almost 1-for-1 or 2-for-1. The next page, public education, safety education, we had seven public safety events, 2 apparatus displays, 3 public education events, 1 safety trailer event where we had the safety trailer out for the kids, and 1 station tour. Deputy Chief Freilich reviewed 14 plan reviews, 3 inspections of preschools, 6 consults for future construction, and attended 4 acceptance tests. The acceptance test is for sprinkler alarm systems. Deputy Chief Freilich also attended a social media course for emergencies for public agencies. Brought back some very valuable information for PIOs on that. Page 6, the Lucas County, again, did not provide any CE training in July or August. We'll be back on that in September. We did educate the entire department on the mandated training from the state of Ohio for USTs, underground storage tanks. That was completed, and the crews also participated in some extrication drills at the tower. The last page is a letter from a woman that was going through a very difficult time with her son, and we were able to help her out and to get her son some help. And that is all I have, unless you have anything for me this evening.
No, sir.
No, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Chief Bowman now has the police monthly report.
Good evening. With the monthly report that you have in front of you, I'm not going to go through a lot of the stats in much detail or anything. Actually, I want to talk about some positive things within the department in light of what we had to deal with last week. So very quickly on page 2, you'll see our calls for service. Of note, you'll see how many calls we get in on the police phone as compared to the other lines. Page 3, that's most of the stats there. Again, you can see we're running quite a bit ahead in calls for service for 2011. Again, we're down slightly with the tickets, down significantly in the property damage accidents, up slightly with the injury accidents. You can see our burglaries have leveled off, which is a good thing. And then the robberies, for some odd reason, are still way up. And again, you can see all the other numbers there. Overall, for all the reports, we're about the same place that we were last year at this time. On page 5, you've got a few cases of interest there. Page 6, the last report, 1568-12, the burglary on Mancy, in which we identified a suspect that had broken into the home and stole guns from the home and such. I want to read a quick letter to you from the homeowner there. He just says, I'm writing this letter to say thank you for a job well done on July 25th after I'd been burglarized. I contacted your department after being burglarized. Officer Saleka and Officers Marsh and Sergeant McKinney arrived promptly and were exceptionally courteous and professional to deal with. After you departed, I watched my security camera videos and figured out what had happened and immediately called you back. You returned and searched for footprints and fingerprints, then the sergeant showed up and did the same. You guys found decent fingerprints and removed them from my storm window and brought it in as evidence. The issue became a more urgent matter the following morning when I learned that the suspect had arrived at an elderly couple's home near me at around 9 a.m. and backed into their driveway in a black car. This suspect approached the door dressed in pajama bottoms, no shirt, confused and unable to explain his very unusual visit to the home. I'm certain he was there to rob them. I contacted all relevant departments. Detective Redding stepped up, took care of what needed to be done. I believe the suspect was apprehended about 1:30 that afternoon. I later spoke to Detective Redding during the afternoon of 7/27 and was pleased to learn that the prints on the window were quality and matched the suspects and charges were filed. Just a little insight as to what's going on, and I know I have a habit of bragging about some of the people in the department, but they continue to do an excellent job. Page 7, again, I won't go all through all the numbers. They're there for your review. You got the detective stats as far as the cases assigned, cases cleared, prior months' cases cleared. I will say that I believe that the July 3rd fireworks, you won't see anything there on this, just some notes I took. July 3rd fireworks was a success. We actually employed 21 officers on just that detail, and then we had, in addition, 4 road patrol officers covering the calls for that night. We did have traffic cleared from the area in about an hour and 15 minutes, which is pretty good considering all the traffic and cobblestones and Centennial Farms and all that stuff around there. I did get one complaint from a guy that was pretty disrespectful in his email, but several compliments. So I think that was a success. And actually the complaint, to be honest with you, was baseless. He wondered why he had to reroute up through Michigan instead of driving eastbound on Monroe Street. For you guys that were out there through the city of Sylvania, you would have taken much longer to get through there than being rerouted around Michigan. Again, our detective on the FBI Fugitive Task Force has been involved in some very good cases. They've solved a number of robberies. One of note, because you probably saw it on this wasn't a robbery, but saw it on the news, was that the large drug investigation, the garage on Angola Road, that they were bringing kilos of cocaine through. And he was very involved in that and helped us identify that suspect. That same detective, I received a nice letter from Sheriff Tell. You're familiar with the double homicide down in Springfield Township. And he just wrote a nice, I won't read the whole letter, but our detective was very instrumental in helping to identify those suspects. And the one suspect that basically got convicted on some of his correspondence from the jail through the phone calls and such, our guy was very instrumental in putting that together. July 25th and 26th, motorcycle units, we had one of our 2 units involved with, and I know Mr. Zeitler had asked about this before, involved with Highway Patrol, Sheriff's Department, and Toledo Police. And it was a joint effort where we really reaped the benefits because they were in the township, and in just those 2 days wrote 44 citations for speed and such. And then we assisted obviously in the other jurisdictions. We're going to probably do that again, if not the end of this month, the beginning of next month. That's a win-win for us. Lastly, or one of the last things here, another very good letter from a deputy chief prosecutor in Julia Bates' office. Back some time ago, Officer Towson, in responding to a call up north of Alexis Road off of Whiteford Road, identified a young boy, a child, if you remember that. A nice letter complimenting the officer and complimenting two detectives, Detective Seeley and Detective Zemania, for the job they did in putting that together and assisting with the prosecution. Just for your knowledge, that gentleman got 5 years. And in the letter, it states that there's no doubt that that child would have been seriously injured or probably killed down the road due to some of the actions of that suspect. July 5th, we assisted Maumee PD in a mutual aid. I think we're going to probably get hit with a number of these, or we may be making calls for mutual aid with the presidential election. This was when President Obama came into town and went to the Walkout House, and we were able to assist them by providing 5 of our SRT officers and 5 additional officers to help set up a perimeter, because that was a nightmare down there, as you can imagine, right on the trail and such. And we got a nice letter from Maumee that was very grateful about that. And lastly, another nice letter reference to, I'll just read it real quick, because I am as anxious to get out of here as everybody else. At 03:18 hours on Thursday, July 26, dispatch started to receive calls about a vehicle on US 23 heading southbound in the northbound lanes. Just before this, Sylvania Police were dispatching units to that area within their jurisdiction as they received a call from Monroe County about it first. Officer Maynard was monitoring the radio traffic and was en route before our dispatch had even entered the call. She located the vehicle and got it stopped just feet away from where an ODOT worker was operating a cement saw in a temporary work zone. Had Officer Maynard arrived even seconds later, this incident could have ended as tragically as many others in the area recently. Due to her immediate and proficient response, no innocent bystanders or motorists were hurt and a serious risk to public safety was ended. So again, being alert, good response time, especially what's been going on lately.
Well, great.
Okay.
Okay, I have a couple complaints for you.
Okay.
And it's possible for Daryl's office. Star Bar, my cousin plays Joey, and Bar 145, they said the sounds are getting awfully loud at night, especially on Thursday night until 2:30 in the morning. What do we do about noise abatement or something like that thing? Because the people said they're tired of calling you.
Who made the complaints? Because we have not received any
A couple
complaints.
residents said they don't want to call anymore. They said they've called several times in the past, and they said they call me now.
That I would dispute.
It's very loud over there. I'm just saying, what can we do about that? Because it is.
Well, one thing I want you to understand is any call that we get, any
Sure.
complaints get logged into a book, and there are no calls in the book.
Okay,
Because
well,
I've been
tell
checking
these
it
people
every
back
Monday.
and tell them to call you directly, then because
Yeah, please
we have to
do.
do something about that, because it's getting awful loud when they have the doors open and the sounds are getting loud at night.
Okay, my officers have told me that they've worked with us and they've been very cooperative with us as
I'll
far
talk
as
to Joey,
turning it
too,
down.
my cousin, I'll see him.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. But unless I don't know about it, I
Okay.
can't deal with it.
I'll stop there on my way home and talk to him tonight.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else?
No, Chief, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is under Administrator. As you recall, under the last meeting, I was authorized to negotiate a contract with Better Design Group. I'm proud to say that we do have a contract. It's attached to the resolution if anybody wants to see it. Some highlights of it are the contract is for $150,000, which is approximately 8% of the project. That's a standard AIA contract percentage. The out-of-pocket expenses is put into the contract, and they will not exceed $2,000. In the contract, with written approval of the township, are reimbursables for site survey, soil boring, construction scheduling services, and detailed cost estimates. And once again, before those are let out, they will have to be authorized by myself, so I'll know the dollar amount. There is no dollar amount now. Better will go out and get the best price he can and then come to me with it. John Burrell made some suggestions, our counselor made some suggestions in the contract, and Better Design put them all of John's suggestions in the contract. And so with that, I would offer a resolution to you to enter into this contract with Better Design Group. If there's any questions, I'd be feel free to ask.
I'd like to offer Resolution 12-119, enter into a contract with Better Design Group for architectural and engineering services for Fire Station Number 1.
Second.
I have a little discussion on the matter. I am totally upset that we're moving ahead on this project. I think it's the wrong position to put it in. And in fact, if we're doing contracting, we should have at least a bid out service. I know it's not required by law, but I think we should bid it out and find out other alternatives and cost effects, because I think it's going to well exceed the money that we have and it's tap into our general budget, especially with the cuts coming next year. A lot more things coming out of Columbus I just found out about. So just that's for the record.
Just to answer a couple of questions, Vetter Design Group is very aware of our budget. They know what our limits are.
I understand that.
And of course, we can't control when the bids, I mean, we have to wait till the bids come in, but he understands our limitation on the dollar amount, and we have both agreed to work together to stay under budget, so.
Just want it on the record.
No, I understand that.
Yes.
And one of the problems with requesting proposals for architect services is, once again, you can't go with, it's hard to go with the lowest. They're all just about the same percent because they use the AIA contract.
Sure.
When I was researching Vetter Design, they are, I don't want to say specialized in fire stations, but they build an awful lot of them.
I know Joe very well. I've seen the fire stations he's built before. I'm not saying Joe's a bad
No, I'm not, but that's one of the reasons I...
Nothing, it's just that I just don't agree with this building it on site on a postage stamp when I'm going to be dead and buried, and it's way past my generations, and I just feel that's not the right place to go. That's my opinion. Okay, go ahead, call the roll.
Mr. Haddad?
No.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Dunaway?
Yes.
The next item on the agenda, I'll have Susan address. It's for the contract with Workplace Resources.
Yes, I have a contract before you with Workplace Resources. They're our EAP provider, Employee Assistance Program. They are a confidential resource for our employees. They're trained professionals that deal with us, that handle anything from marital issues, family problems, drug and alcohol problems, stress. We're charged so much per person, per employee, per month. Basically, the contract for the year amounts to $4,100 and $4,158, and that does include promotional materials, site testing for pre-employment, and it does include 8 hours of training that they will come in, whatever kind of training we need for supervisors and employees. They provide 8 hours for this contract.
I'll offer Resolution 12-120 to enter a contract with Workplace Resources.
Second.
Mr. Haddad?
No.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Dunaway?
Yes.
Just for the record, we're going to be short on money next year, and I don't want to be in an upside-down budget.
Next item on the agenda is under the fiscal officer. Dave, if you want to give the July report.
Yes, at the end of July, you see the, well, not up here yet, but it'll get there in that, but at the end of 7 months, the standard percentage for expenditures would be 58.3, and you can see in our expenditures that are listed there that we are below that.
Wow.
And so that's a good thing for us to be doing. I think the departments are working hard on their budgets and that, so we're doing well. We have gotten in our property taxes, the second half property taxes have started to come in, and so we'll be seeing revenue then starting to drift up some as we hopefully get up for 100% and maybe even more than that as we did last year in two funds. Overall, the major funds are doing very well, about where they've anticipated they would be. You can see expenditures are slightly down. And we're not really aware of any major concerns with any of the individual budgets, so keeping track of those. One just aside, we did have, with the storm cleanup, we did have expenditures of about $32,000, I believe, in addition to what, we used our own personnel and our own equipment, and so we were able to redeploy people for that. So, but we had to hire some additional crews and some chippers and the like, which cost us about $32,000. But when you really look at, in my mind, the territory that had to be covered, the amount of debris that we experienced in a number of the townships, I thought actually was pretty good. With our people doing it, and we did have to spend some money, so it hurts our budget a little bit, but I thought it was less than I was expecting it was frankly going to be. So I think we did a pretty good job with that, using our people and having to get some outside people, but keeping it to a minimum. So I think you guys did a good job, Greg, on holding the line there, even though we had to spend some money. These things happen once in a while.
Especially in heat.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was fierce out there, the heat with this, and so we did have, our workers, I think, did a good job, and our people we hired in did a good job. But just a note on that, and then we do have some resolutions that are here. The first being Resolution 12-116, and it's a township appropriation from unencumbered balance, and the police department and the fire department received increases in wages after the original budget was approved, and so we have to do some increases in salary accounts and corresponding fringe benefits as needed. And so I would offer this resolution for the trustees.
I'll offer that.
Okay, Kevin, and we have a second?
Which one are we offering? 12-116?
Yes, 116.
I'll second that.
And Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
And then we have Resolution 12-117, and there is a transfer of appropriations, and due to shortages in various line items within zoning, road and bridge, and police and fire, we've had to move some money around and that to cover these things. So that's what this really pertains to.
I'll offer Resolution 12-117, transfer of appropriations.
Second.
Calling the roll, Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
And lastly, we have a transfer of funds, and this is just an increase in the appropriation transfer out to the police fund for the abandoned car proceeds needs to be transferred. We have some proceeds, it's a small amount of money, a little over $2,000, right? Yeah, they're $2,040.
I'll offer 12-118 transfer fund for the police department.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
I don't really have anything else.
Thank you.
I just have one comment in that I've already started working with the staff on the 2013 budget and working very closely with Jim. We're going through the 2012 budget, and we're no longer really looking at the budget. We're looking at what we're actually going to spend this year. Jim did an analysis for the first 7 months of actual, and then what we will spend in the next 5 months. That will be our baseline figure for 2013 for what I look at is for reductions. Instead of going from the budget amount, we'll actually go from the actual expenditures from this year. By doing that, I preliminary have looked, and I think we can get these budgets out, at least for road and the general fund, to 2020, 2019-20. I haven't started on fire or police yet, so, but just let you know, we're working on it now in August for next year.
That's awesome.
Well, I know the entire staff is very focused on the budget and have been doing a great job, as the numbers show, and I just want to applaud everyone's efforts and keep up the good work. We're all under the gun here.
Susan, I have a question for you, or open discussion here. The workplace resources, does that include the drug testing?
No.
Okay. That's a set, what company do we have for that?
Occupational therapy.
Okay, that's what, okay, thanks.
Next item under the discussion is, as you know, our next meeting is September 4th, which is the day after Labor Day. And so it'll be up to the board to determine if they want to have a meeting that day after Labor Day or postpone it as we did in July to the next regular scheduled meeting.
I think I'm in favor of skipping to the third Tuesday of September. There's nothing pressing that we're committed by time.
That'll be our regular schedule.
18, yeah.
I mean, in light of looking at the budget and the expenses and things that are under control, and you guys are doing a great job, let's, I think we should wait till, I wouldn't mind.
Once if any emergency comes up.
Yeah, we can always
with
put it on.
24 hours notice, we can
Yeah.
call a special meeting.
Okay.
So is that consensus of the board? So our next regular scheduled meeting will be July.
September 18th.
I'm sorry, September 18th.
We don't want to spend it.
Oh, perfect.
And I just have one thing to bring up under township resolutions that we're just working on right now. With the new budget changes in January, they are cutting out any part-time employees getting PERS. So anybody who makes less than so much money or part-time employees, they're going to be totally cut out of PERS as of next year. The Township Association asked me to bring that up at the meeting because they said that it's going to be a big issue. And hearings started on the 21st of August, which is today. Pardon? I know, I'm just telling us though, so it's on the record, so people know that it's coming up in case anybody wants a job here. They won't be subject to getting anything from PERS. Because there's a lot of trustees who've worked 20, 30 years in government, and now that's all getting wiped out for them because it's been that much time. I'm just telling you guys so you guys know the record. Okay?
And I had one more follow-up comment on the budget issues, and we made some comments, and that is, sometimes in budgets, employees work hard to, and the department chair work hard to keep the budget down, and then sometimes employees, and you think, well, they just keep lowering the bar, then make it harder and harder for us to make it, but that's really not what we're really doing or forced to do. The township is, as all governmental entities, have less resources coming in, so it's not that you kind of get rewarded with by doing that with just a more difficult budget. We've had pretty good communication with our department chairman, knowing that we just have some less resources coming in. There's a little bit of state money that's not coming. It's just a little bit harder for us. So it's not that they somehow get punished for doing a good job and they get less money, and that it's a function that we don't have the money. We're struggling, and as all governmental entities are, nothing different for us. And so the employees need to be made aware of that there's a reason for all this, that we're having to do this. And,
We actually are meeting with the non-exempt staff September 6th to talk to them about next year's budget. And we thought who better to ask for suggestions than the people who are in the trenches doing the work on a day-to-day basis.
It's a great thing to do. It's a great thing to do. A lot of times, we're kind of running the show, and sometimes some of the best people that you can ask, how do you maybe make things run better, more efficiently, save more money, is asking people out there sometimes that are sometimes doing it. And so that's a good idea. But I thought that should just be said. The trustees are kind of in a spot on funding in that, and so we're doing a good job.
Yeah, very, very good point, because a lot of times, in the old days, if budgets got cut, it was because somebody else was getting more money.
Right.
And this is not the case. We're
Right.
all shrinking. Trustee Head has said, we're losing state money, and we're getting smaller, and we're trying to do it in a logical, methodical way over the next few years.
Yeah, but the bad thing the governor did was kept the cap tax, and he's fixing all the state highways. We're not getting any road money.
Right.
Yeah.
Hearing of the public,
I don't think anybody signed in.
No. Okay, I would like to offer a motion to adjourn at 7:33.
Second.
Mr. Haddad?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes. We're getting this down. Hey.